This is an exciting one, a really exciting one. Come closer. Gigabyte and I have had a bit of a rough patch in the past few months because I was kind of not happy with their X870 and X870E lineup of motherboard. I felt that, it was not up to par compared to the competition, and the enlightened people of Gigabyte decided to revamp and launch a redemptive X3D, so-called family of motherboards, which does address most of my concerns. Not that it was made for me. And so today we are reviewing the excellent X870E AERO wood from Gigabyte, a creator-centric motherboard designed to be noticed, designed to be desired, a board that will finally make you say to your girlfriend, "I got wood." Now, starting with the obvious, the most noticeable improvement compared to Gigabyte's previously released X870E motherboards is a transition from an adequate 6 PCB layer to a sturdier 8-layer PCB. A better insulated, longer lifespan foundation, you understand that, and one that I believe Gigabyte should have adopted on day one of the X870 season, and one of my main grievances, but no more. And because it didn't just want to catch up, but actually surpass the competition, we also get a large, beautiful backplate. It not only protects the solder points, but also acts as a VRM and PCH thermal shield, thanks to those thick thermal pads. There's simply nothing better in terms of PCB foundation, or almost, and largely deserves a 9 out of 10 and a very big kudos to Gigabyte for this. Now, design-wise, well, we are in the presence of the most beautiful motherboard I've ever been given the pleasure, nay, honor to toy with. The X870E AERO wood contrasts beautifully sanded silver aluminum surfaces with textured pine wood, real pine wood, delicately placed on the northern side of the motherboard. And it doesn't stop at wood. We also have some unusual premium inserts. Think copper-colored accents and even a hint of vegan leather energy, bringing an overall zen, natural feel that we simply haven't seen on a motherboard before. At least in the past decade that I've been reviewing motherboards, right? And for once, the RGB actually adds aesthetic value here. We got 2 RGB strips, one embedded under the main VRM block, giving a comfortable backlit glow that pairs beautifully with the wood nearby. And we have a second one on the chipset heat shield, using the same backlighted effect to underline the warmth of the curved aluminum. This is the chalet version of a motherboard, and I love it so much. I'm almost tempted to give it a 10 out of 10, but obviously I'm not, because there's always something you can improve. But an unprecedented 9.5 out of 10. Now, more technically, under the hood, well, the wood is powered by AMD's favorite combo. On one hand, the never-aging AM5 CPU socket, supporting more processors today than you've had enter course this year, or me for that matter. And on the chipset side, a couple of low-heat proprietary 21 chips forming the X870E chipset. It manages and organizes the 24 fast available PCIe 5.0 lanes coming from the CPU and contributes everything else you need for a richly featured motherboard, from legacy PCIe lanes to Wi-Fi 7 and USB 4s, which are absolutely 2026 must-have features. Special note for the PCH cooling block, it does a great job at keeping those Promo 21 chips cool as ice despite their close proximity. Now, VRM-wise, well, we're digging in the thick of it here, because the AERO wood gets its very own tailored power solution. We have 20 60 amps power stages organized in an 8 parallel phases configuration, +2+2. That's 1200 amps about of total, no, it's exactly 1200 amps total power, 960 of which is CPU-centric. And the 8-phase parallel or teamed style design makes sense since it gives us a better transient response, which will do great for long-lasting rendering sessions and, well, for intense gaming as well. You won't be able to do extreme overclocking. You'll need a direct phases for that, but that's really not the focus of this motherboard anyways. But still, in application, I had no problem keeping the CPU running at the top end of its boost range for hours through some of the most torturous synthetic stress tests the world has ever seen. Now, VRM cooling wise though, Gigabyte really went all in. The main VRM block shows large radiating fins topped with a beefy and large radiating roof, though all fed by a dense aluminum wall. The side VRM block is no less impressive, with a thick mass feeding 2 levels of radiating palms. Now, most importantly, both use the now standard dual contact design for an intimate heat relief on both chokes and power stages alike. Nothing to re-say here. But what surprised me, in a good way, is the premium push here that we have through an 8mm copper heat pipe linking both of our VRM segments, ensuring a somewhat homogeneous heat spread between them two, a feature usually reserved for, higher-end, very expensive motherboard, so I'm happy to see it here. And practically, well, thermals are fabulous. After an hour of brutal synthetic stress test, the main VRM block barely reached 40 degrees Celsius with an almost flat temperature curve, hinting at a high dissipation rate. The side block ran a little bit hotter, smaller mass, that's expected, but stayed nevertheless under 45 degrees Celsius, mainly thanks to that heat pipe did what it could to spread the heat around, and it worked as expected. That is roughly 25 to 30 degrees Celsius away from my usual, anxiety thermal limits, right? At about 70 degrees Celsius, I start to bitch about having too hot of a VRM, and that's maybe where I have a little critic on this motherboard, is with such a large headroom, I don't see why Gigabyte didn't go for 80 amps power stages. The 60 amps are really, really good, and they're doing a great job. But having 80 amps would have provided maybe a little bit more oomph and, I have to say, some really solid future proofing. Something that I hope Gigabyte would do on the next iteration of the Wood, if there is one. Not a deal breaker. I think this is a great power solution, a very stable one, very efficient, and I would not want to see this paired with anything less than a Ryzen 7, please. Now, RAM-wise, in case your OnlyFans account did really well this month, maybe you'll have a shot at buying the entirety of the 256 GB of DDR5 RAM this motherboard can support, and which can swap data to a top of the industry 9,000 million transfers per second. Now, obviously, maxing this motherboard out will get a bit pricey, I'm afraid. So it might be useful to invest in less but faster memory sticks, because that's what really matters in a production environment, is very fast memory. And to achieve those higher 9,000 million transfer per second clocks, you'll want some Hynix MDI enabled RAM. And thanks to my affordable yet top of the range Patriot Viper Extreme 5 kit, I had no problem getting there. Just saying. Now, storage wise, well, we have 4 NVMe slots, 2 of which are PCIe 5.0 enabled, able to swap data up to an extremely fast 128 gigabit per second each, and 2 lower PCIe 4.0 NVMEs still able to swap data to a plenty fast 64 gigabit per second each. Now, the slot closest to the CPU is the only one with 4 dedicated unbifurcated PCIe 5.0 lanes, so it gets most of the cooling focus here, with dual thermal pads and that gorgeous, magnificent thermal heat block that will keep our stick as cool as it can be and far from thermal throttling territories. And there's no second-class citizens here, since the other drives all receive thermal pads and benefits from a large and thick radiating plate. I do need to note and upload the brand new screwless mechanism, which cleverly uses magnets to guide the plate placement and benefit from a brand new, more sturdy locking mechanism. It is easy to remove and feels precise when putting it back into place. And I really do hope that the competition will not only take notice, but replicate this as fast as they can. Now, PCIe export-wise, as any good content creation motherboard, self-respecting content creation motherboard should have, we have a rare dual GPU support. Yes, sir. Which explains the gorgeous white-themed reinforcement on both our 16 slots. In a single GPU configuration and on the closest PCIe exports to your CPU, your graphics card will have access to 16 PCIe 5.0 lanes, which, you know, it doesn't get any faster than that now and for many years to go. In a dual GPU configuration, both cards share CPU lanes in an 8x8 configuration, which, as every creation rabbit knows, is still enough for optimally using even an RTX 5090 each, give or take 1 or 2% of performance loss. To be clear, that will have zero consequences on your gaming performances. But if you are a smelly video editor renderer, such as yours truly, then yeah, it starts to become relevant. Now, special note to the GPU export or eject mechanism here, which will really ease your life in your GPU removal adventures. Now, finally, the last and naked PCIe export is fed by our chipset with some legacy PCIe lanes, which are noticeably slower, but still fast enough to support some, I don't know, additional NVMe storage or what have you. Now, overall, it's a creator-focused and premium PCIe layout with a solid and practical dual GPU support. Big and normal kudos to Gigabyte for this. Now, back IO-wise. Well, we got a bunch of high-speed plugs here, which on their own, and thanks to a couple of ultra-fast USB 4 plugs, can potentially deliver up to 165 gigabit per second worth of data. Add to that another 30 gigabit per second of front panel connector, and we have about 200 gigabit per second worth of data swap. Absolutely insane. Now, keep in mind that our USB 4 plugs double up as 4K display outputs, which brings to 3 the display outputs on this back IO alone, and a front panel HDMI, which will feed a monitoring case on your chassis. Pretty darn cool if you ask me, and let's make this clear. If you are here, you are asking me. Now, most excitingly, connectivity-wise, because this thing, the AERO Wood, decided to murder its competition. We have a dual 5 gigabit LAN, and for content creators, this is absolutely key because you can connect on one of the LANs your NAS. I did a great video on this, by the way, a month ago, and, you know, plug in your fiber optic. Something I've never seen at this price range, and I absolutely love it. In addition, we have our low latency 6 gigabit per second fast Wi-Fi 7, which finishes to make this thing butt sexy. Finally, audio-wise, well, we have a more modest, I want to say, yet still very good ALC 1220 from Realtek, filtered and cleansed by a massive 500 microfarads worth of chemical capacitors. Overall, well, how to say this? The confluence of such a high bandwidth availability shared between USB and connectivity components reinforce this motherboard already well-established creator-centric pedigree and deserves every single point of the 8.5 out of 10 I'm giving to the AERO Wood. Now, we have seen what Gigabyte and any other motherboard manufacturers wants you to see, but it would not have escaped you that we only have 24 PCIe 5.0 lanes to feed all of our PCIe 5.0 enabled components. 16 of them are dedicated to our GPU, 4 dedicated to one NVMe, and the remaining 4 PCIe 5.0 lanes shared between this NVMe and our USB 4s. So out of the box, the BIOS is set to give them 2 PCIe 5.0 lanes each, which will deliver half of the advertised speed on both. And if you want either of them to go at full advertised speed, well, you are shutting the other component down completely, a choice that you will have to do based on your actual needs. And that is the only PCIe bifurcation you will have on this motherboard. All the other PCIe 4.0 components have dedicated lanes. So again, Gigabyte did a great job in terms of bandwidth management. Now, cooling wise, well, the X870E AERO wood comes heavy with no less than 8 PWM fan connectors, 2 of which have water pump functions, which is not surprising since this is a dual GPU motherboard. So if you want to go all out on a custom water cooling setup, here you can. And finally, troubleshooting wise, well, I don't have enough good things to say about this part, but let's start with the obvious good points, right? We have an easy debugger and an OLED error code for a more refined and informative troubleshooting adventure. But most importantly, most excitingly, I want to say, every button, power, reset, clear CMOS, flashback, are all placed on the back I/O. So if you want to do anything, you no longer have to remove the glass of your chassis, of your case. You can simply reach behind and access all of those directly, which is very, very handy when you're finding yourself in a pickle. Great word, by the way. This is the kind of small, gradual improvement that I absolutely want to see bleed out through the industry. Now, in conclusion, the X870E AERO X3D wood will cost you about 430 euros in the EU, 375 sterling pounds in the UK, both of which are all tax inclusive, or 500 USD without taxes in the US, so about the same price everywhere is what I'm trying to say. And as your muscled brain would have deduced by now, well, I kind of like this motherboard. Very, very, very much. I don't have that many critics to make here. Maybe apart from bumping up the VRM a little bit from 60M to 80M, that would be nice. But most importantly, Gigabyte is finally letting loose a little bit and taking some risk and showing off a more premium manufacturing process, which not only performs great and good, but it shows some patience in its finish, some minute attention to details, and imposes a new level of luxury, I want to say, with the presence of exotic components I simply have never seen on motherboards before. Because that, my friends, show passion. And as a user, you feel it in your dick and balls. And the competition should really start to worry, because on the creator market, on the creator motherboard market, this one, the AERO X3D, absolutely overtakes anything in existence and sets a finish bar, a bandwidth bar, a performance bar, which is very, very high to reach. So in short, if you are a gamer of some sort, most importantly, a demanding video creator, or just a gentleman of taste, there is nowhere else your money needs, wants, and begs you to be.